outperforming as well in some cases, doing better than Tesla. And you just have to think, how much more is this a sustained issue for Tesla going forward, given the fact that you have Elon Musk, who's been very forthright in his opinions, particularly weighing in on politics, particularly in Europe. We've just had the European elections, which Musk has been very focused on. But across the piece, when you look at the performance for Tesla in Europe, it's not just in small countries. There are a lot of countries where Tesla has been performing badly, including in Germany, in the UK, where it has been lagging, and Spain as well.
There has been a turnaround in the world of electric cars that has shaken the very foundation of the industry. What if we told you that Tesla, until recently the sole leader in electric vehicles, is now forced to respond to two old giants? Yes, you heard right. Those companies are Toyota and Jeep, the very brands that have long been considered too conservative, too slow to compete with the innovations of Elon Musk. But now things have changed, and the result of that change could be the biggest blow to Tesla in history.
We begin with the president's trade war escalating tonight. This evening, the retaliation against the United States, Canada, and the European Union responding quickly, just hours after President Trump's 25% tariff on all steel and aluminum coming into the United States.
Imagine this: two of the biggest players in the auto industry, with decades of experience and billions of dollars in their hands, suddenly decided to merge. And for good reason. They've prepared a strategic move that insiders say will jeopardize Musk's empire itself. Rumors about this partnership have been circulating for a long time, but no one expected that the final result would exceed all expectations. How did this happen? Why did Toyota, and especially Jeep, who until recently couldn't decide on their own electrification strategy, suddenly come to put everything on the line and come up with an electric vehicle that will largely wow the market? In this video, we'll reveal how Toyota and Jeep have prepared a strategy in a few years that could be the very moment Tesla loses its leadership status.
That's from the European Automobile Manufacturers Association. People just choosing with their wallets to not buy Teslas because of that Musk-Trump association. And actually here in London, an activist group called Everyone Hates Elon actually have been hacking bus stop signs with posters. I actually passed one yesterday. First, I wasn't quite sure what was happening, but it said the words 0 to 1939 in 3 seconds. Illusion here, 0 to 60 in like 3 seconds or something. But this poster was alluding to the start of World War II, and the image was of Musk giving that hand salute that we saw at Trump's inauguration that many have attacked as a Nazi gesture. Musk, though, has neither admitted or denied what he was doing. But we're seeing the knock-on effect of that anti-Musk anger across Europe and in terms of sales.
You might be thinking that this is about a revolutionary electric car with incredible performance, and that would be true. But what makes this move so important is how these two brands, each in their own niche, have joined forces. Toyota, known for its prowess in hybrid technology, and Jeep, whose reputation has been built on the ruggedness and off-road capability of the EV SUVs, have decided to use all of their strengths to challenge Musk. You may have already noticed how, amidst this emergence of new models, Tesla began to lose its magic. And when Musk, as confident as ever in his success, found himself consumed by problems outside of car manufacturing, his position in the market weakened. What happened behind the scenes? Why just now, when everyone expected Tesla to move only forward, did two old players gather forces to question its superiority?
Over the last couple of months. But the other thing that this could potentially be is an attempt at readjustment or correction by the Trump administration, in that one of Trump's closest kind of allies and supporters, and someone who's clearly very influential in the administration, is coming out to kind of push back against the recently implemented policies. So I'm thinking, or maybe hopeful is the right word, that this might be a signal that the administration is considering walking back some of those policies.
Stay tuned, because we'll show you how Toyota and Jeep's strategic collaboration, their hidden cards, and a powerful new electric SUV could lead to Elon Musk possibly facing a real threat to his monopolistic position for the first time in a long time. The events that have rocked the auto industry have unfolded with such speed that even the most devoted fans and experts have not had time to realize the full force of the blow. It's not just another move by a competitor, it's a strategic maneuver that threatens to change the balance of power in the electric car market. But let's start from the beginning, from the moment when Elon Musk decided that electric cars were the future. In the early 2000s, Tesla was just a dream of engineers who weren't afraid to take risks. Musk, a man who had already established himself as an unconventional entrepreneur, decided to conquer one of the most challenging and conservative industries in the world, the automotive industry.
Teslas are being torched across the country. Dealerships shot up and set on fire. Spray paint to vandalize and make a statement. People in Southern California are getting notes on their Teslas, calling them complicit Nazis for owning electric cars.
At a time when the world's largest companies, such as General Motors and Ford, were still pondering whether it was even worth pursuing electric cars, Musk took a risk. He invested $6.5 million in Tesla, completely changing its direction, and that was the start of a revolution. Since then, Tesla has strengthened its position every year, making innovations that no one had dared to realize before. Autopilot, over-the-air upgrades, electric cars with impressive performance, all this brought the company a unique position in the market.
Running around on stage with a Tesla stock price, where the stock price had gone in half. And he was overjoyed. What an evil thing to do. What a creep, what a jerk. Like who derives joy?
Tesla quickly flooded the market, taking on the role of disruptor, the disruptor of the usual patterns. During this time, competitors like Toyota and Jeep watched but were observers rather than participants. Toyota, being the world's leading automaker, has always approached things with caution. Since the release of the first Prius hybrid car in 1997, the company has focused on moving slowly but surely. It was a reasonable approach, as the hybrid car market wasn't ready for a full electric revolution at first. But in recent years, it's become clear, if Toyota doesn't adapt, it will fall by the wayside of history. Jeep, on the other hand, has always been known for its focus on SUVs and has been slow to make the transition to electrification. However, things changed when the electric vehicle market started to grow and consumer preferences began to shift towards eco-friendliness. And so, on the back of Tesla's successful moves, the two giants, who had been eyeing things for a long time, began to realize that it was time to act. But with one caveat, they didn't start copying Musk's idea, nor did they try to simply catch up. Instead, Toyota and Jeep were deciding how to adapt their own expertise and powerful brands to the new reality, but not based on the same standards that Tesla was using. They began to develop a strategy that would be a response to the challenge of the new times. And that strategy was based on what they knew well. The best thing to do was not to fight innovation, but to bring their unique approaches to electrification.
After Trump imposed those sweeping 25% tariffs on aluminum and steel imports, the European Union retaliating with tariffs on up to $28 billion of U.S. goods. Trump making it clear this isn't over, vowing to respond in kind with sweeping retaliatory tariffs early next month.
They're doing what they should be doing, perhaps, for the European Union, but it does create ill will. And as you know, we're going to be doing reciprocal tariffs. So whatever they charge us, we're charging them.
Canada also striking back with new tariffs on $20 billion worth of U.S. goods, mostly steel and aluminum, but also computers and sporting goods.
That's how the partnership between Toyota and Jeep came about. Instead of competing on the same front, the two brands decided to join forces and create a product that would not be another attempt to copy Tesla, but would be unique and relevant to market demands. Their decision was not just bold, but truly revolutionary. Behind the scenes, their companies began to develop secret plans that remained closed from the public for a long time. However, in 2023, it became known that Toyota and Jeep had developed a joint electric vehicle platform that would combine the best features of the two brands, Toyota's hybrid and electric technology with Jeep's off-road capabilities and design. When information about the joint project appeared on the horizon, it came as a real shock to the entire automotive world. From then on, when talking about the future of electric cars, mentions of Toyota and Jeep were no longer so insignificant. These were not just two companies that decided to do something about electric mobility. This was a strategic move that was fundamentally game-changing. They decided to build an all-new electric SUV, the Jeep Wagoneer S, and not just any SUV, but one that could become a worthy competitor to the Tesla Model X, and perhaps even surpass it in some parameters.
Canada, the largest supplier of steel to the U.S., slapping new tariffs on $20 billion worth of U.S. goods that are sold in Canada. And the 27 countries of the European Union imposing retaliatory tariffs on up to $28 billion worth of U.S. goods sold in Europe, including Harley-Davidson motorcycles and Kentucky bourbon. President Trump with the Irish Prime Minister visiting the White House today. The president suggesting his tariffs won't stop here, saying, "Of course, I'm going to respond." And tonight, right here, the new poll showing 56% of Americans disapprove of President Trump's handling of the economy. The number's even worse now on the president's tariffs.
The Jeep Wagoneer S, which was set to hit the market in late 2027, would have been the first of its kind, an electric vehicle with off-road capabilities and high performance. This vehicle was being developed in strict secrecy, and few people knew that it was already in production. The specifications of the car were impressive: 2 electric motors with more than 600 horsepower, acceleration to 100 km/h in 3.4 seconds, and a range of more than 480 km. All this taking into account that in the development was used not only the advanced electric vehicle platform Toyota, but also off-road features of Jeep. The car was to become not just a competitor, but a real threat to Tesla, whose leadership position began to shake due to internal instability. In this context, it is important to note that Toyota and Jeep did not just take turns developing their products. They began working on a unified platform that could be scaled to different models, from SUVs to lighter city cars. This alliance was powerful not only from a technology standpoint, but also given that both companies have significant market resources and infrastructure to launch new models. Toyota, due to its reputation and scale, had access to the necessary components and production capacity, while Jeep brought its unique expertise in creating vehicles with outstanding off-road performance.
KTLA Samantha Cortese joins us live with more on the wave of vandalism in protests of Elon Musk and his role in Washington. Sam?
Hi, Sharon, Micah. The ATF and FBI are collaborating with federal, state, and local law enforcement to investigate acts of domestic terrorism surrounding Teslas.
The companies that became partners immediately showed that they had plans to create new standards in the industry that even players like Tesla would not be able to ignore. Musk, with his ambition and passion for innovation, was confident that his company was staying one step ahead, that his vision of a sustainable future had no rivals. But the actions of Toyota and Jeep have forced him to rethink his strategy. The question that has now become relevant: can these old giants, being prudent and thoughtful, overtake Tesla while Musk has been consumed by his own problems, from Twitter to internal issues at Tesla? So the moves by Toyota and Jeep were not just a response to a challenge, it was a carefully considered maneuver that could be the beginning of a new era in the auto industry. Elon Musk may not have expected this turn of events, but now that his former confidence has started to crack at the seams, he finds himself in a situation where the old giants are not just catching up, but are starting to show that they can be as innovative as he is.
Well, this feels more like a Tesla-only story when you look at just this fall in EV sales for them that they're suffering across Europe, down 45% in January. The wider EV market in Europe up 37%, so rivals are catching up and performing.
When Toyota and Jeep began to realize that they were missing an important moment in the evolution of the auto industry, they realized that their next steps had to be not only carefully planned, but bold as well. The electric car market was changing rapidly, and competing with Tesla was not easy but necessary. However, unlike other major manufacturers who began ramping up their electrification efforts, Toyota and Jeep decided to do things differently. Instead of catching up with Musk in the same field, they decided to create not just a competitive product, but to bet on combining their unique capabilities. Thus, the birth of their joint platform was not just the result of progress, but a strategic evolution that took into account both innovation and tradition. Toyota, known for its reputation for reliability and hybrid technology, has long maintained a cautious strategy toward electrification. Its strategy to introduce hybrid and electric technology was a step into the future, but essentially there was nothing revolutionary about the process. The company continued to improve its technology, develop hybrids, and invest in the next generation of batteries, such as solid-state batteries that promise greater energy capacity and fast charging times. However, it was with the advent of the new century and the realization of the threat from Tesla that Toyota decided it was time to get in the game, and to do so they needed to act with unusual boldness.
Hey, Diane, this investigation really just beginning, and one of the key elements will, of course, be the surveillance video. And investigators potentially have a lot of it to work with as they try to figure out what caused this fire. We know that surveillance footage has been turned over, including video from each of the cars, which could prove vital to understanding what happened here, because each vehicle has its own camera system that works even when the car is off. And 16 cars burned in this fire. And right now, investigators don't know what caused it.
The joint platform allowed these brands to integrate their best achievements and technologies into one product, which ultimately brought success. Toyota brought its renowned flexibility in manufacturing processes and innovative battery technology to the project, while Jeep provided this vehicle with truly off-road capabilities. This model, with its 600 horsepower, was built to easily tackle the toughest trails, while providing the same level of comfort and innovation as Tesla's flagships.
I mean, the things that he's doing is not trying to make America better. He's ruining our infrastructure, every department in our government he's ruining, and he's right now destroying our economy. He's taken away all of our allies. We're a pariah in the world.
For Tesla, this has become a real challenge. While Elon Musk's company continued to focus on mass-producing its more affordable models like the Model 3 and Model Y, new competitors decided to bet on another market segment, electric SUVs, where Tesla had yet to find a worthy competitor. And so, when all this was hidden behind closed-door negotiations, no one expected that Toyota and Jeep, these seemingly long-forgotten players in the battle for electric cars, would suddenly come out with such a powerful and relevant product. The move was not just a blow to Tesla's plans, but it also raised questions about the vulnerability of Musk's company itself. After all, unlike traditional car companies like Ford and General Motors, which have continued to adapt hybrid models, Toyota and Jeep have managed to integrate their expertise into electrification, creating a product that is not only up to date, but also beats the competition. It's not just an electric vehicle, it's a product that completely redefines what an electric SUV should be. The market was shocked, and analysts began to revise their predictions. Meanwhile, Tesla found itself in a situation where it was no longer able to dictate the rules of the game so confidently. Yes, Elon Musk was still a colorful figure, but the market was changing, and the new threat from Toyota and Jeep could not help but make him think about the future. It was this bold and strategic pairing of the two big players that changed the rules of the game, and now Tesla could no longer just be an observer.
Well, you will hear people over in Europe say the new Model Y, the Juniper, could be a difference maker. But that's been in that market now for more than a month. And you would think that you'd see a greater snapback if it's going to be a difference maker. Look, we could be wrong. It could be a difference maker once you get the sales for April, May, and June. But when you have a country like Norway, I think the sales were down something like 11% there. I mean, that's a very savvy EV consumer in Norway. And that's long been a strength for Tesla. Very small market, not huge volume, but I think almost all of the vehicles they sell there are electric. And they embraced Tesla long before others. And, you know, the reports there are not encouraging.
What made the new Jeep Wagoneer S special was not only its striking technical equipment, but also its approach to the brand. Toyota, by developing its platform and integrating it into the project with Jeep, brought its confidence in long-term solutions. And Jeep, in turn, capitalized on its traditional reputation by creating an SUV with features that could compete not only with the Model X, but also with other more niche models. The Wagoneer S was designed to be not only competitive but also sought after in a variety of segments. It appealed not only to SUV enthusiasts, but also to those who appreciate innovation and elegance. This was a serious blow for Musk, as Tesla was already facing increasing competition, but the appearance of such a hybrid product could make it very difficult to further monopolize the market. Moreover, Toyota and Jeep formed a true alliance that was geared towards long-term sustainability. Utilizing their production facilities and marketing strategies, these brands quickly began to create demand for their new platform. The secret weapon in this game was not only technology, but also the ability to bring their vehicles to market at a huge scale. In doing so, they realized that the war with Tesla should not be about every little thing, but about fundamental decisions that would shape the future. And thanks to their reputation and huge distribution network, the companies began to introduce their new developments into the market much faster than Tesla did with new projects like the Cybertruck.
So there are a couple of things that might be going on here. So on the one hand, it could be that just at a very basic level, Musk has quickly observed a 40% decline in sales in Tesla in Europe.
As a result, Toyota and Jeep's moves were carefully planned. Their products, presented in the form of an innovative electric SUV, proved to be not just a competitor, but a full-fledged challenge that put Tesla in a difficult position. The new electric car market demanded not only innovation but also flexibility, and the old giants who had learned to adapt were ready to challenge Musk. This moment was a turning point in the industry, as the emergence of new solutions with not only technological maturity, but also market support showed that the era of Tesla's unipolar dominance may be coming to an end. And while Tesla remains an important player, this was not just a threat, but a new stage in the global struggle for an electric vehicle future.